Welcome to Conspiracies Condensed, where history's most controversial secrets are uncovered, analyzed, and exposed. From government cover-ups to declassified experiments, we dive deep into the conspiracies that turned out to be true. If you're ready to challenge the official story, subscribe now and join us on this journey into the shadows of history. New York, 1971. The air was electric with change and resistance. While the Vietnam War divided a nation, one voice rose above the noise, not with bullets or banners, but with music. John Lennon had traded stadium spotlights for protest stages, his words echoing through a generation tired of war and hypocrisy. But in an America led by paranoia and power, peace became dangerous. To the establishment, Lennon's message wasn't harmony, it was rebellion. The FBI surveillance of John Lennon. The voice they feared. In the early 1970s, John Lennon wasn't just a rock star, he was a revolutionary voice. Fresh off the Beatles' breakup, he used his fame to rally against war and injustice. But in a White House obsessed with control, his words hit like gunfire. Lennon's anti-war anthems, protests, and interviews inspired millions, especially the young voters Nixon feared most. To the establishment, his peace sign looked like a weapon. And so, in the shadows of power, a decision was made to monitor, discredit, and silence him. What began as a simple file soon spiraled into one of the most controversial surveillance operations in modern American history. From Beatle to political rebel. After moving to New York City in 1971, Lennon transformed from musician to outspoken activist. With Yoko Ono by his side, he joined causes supporting Native Americans, striking workers, and anti-war movements. Songs like "Give Peace a Chance" and "Power to the People" became rallying cries at demonstrations across the nation. But the FBI saw more than music. They saw a man capable of mobilizing millions against the Vietnam War. His presence at political rallies and close ties with radical figures like Jerry Rubin and Abby Hoffman alarmed Washington. The ex-Beatle had become a political threat, and in J. Edgar Hoover's America, that was enough to make him an enemy of the state. Nixon's America. The early 70s were an era of paranoia and unrest. The Pentagon Papers had been leaked, protests filled the streets, and the Nixon administration was cracking down on dissent. Lennon's message of peace was colliding head-on with a government addicted to surveillance. Nixon feared that Lennon's influence could rally the youth vote against him in the 1972 election. Behind closed doors, political advisors whispered that Lennon could be the next Eugene McCarthy, capable of turning concerts into political rallies. To prevent that, the administration ordered an operation worthy of the Cold War, spying not on foreign enemies, but on one of the world's most famous musicians. Building the file. The FBI opened a file under Lennon's name in 1971, assigning agents to monitor his every move. Under J. Edgar Hoover's direction, the Bureau compiled reports on his political affiliations, his friends, and even his lyrics. Informants infiltrated his circle, attending parties, concerts, and planning meetings. Lennon's phone was tapped, and his mail was intercepted. What they found wasn't criminal activity, but it didn't matter. The objective wasn't justice, it was control. The file grew thicker with each passing week, filled with notes labeling Lennon as a subversive influence. What began as surveillance would soon evolve into an outright campaign to remove him from the country. Operation Deportation. When Nixon's team realized they couldn't arrest Lennon, they found another weapon: immigration law. In 1972, the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service served Lennon with deportation papers, citing an old misdemeanor, a cannabis conviction from years earlier in London. Behind the scenes, the FBI supplied intelligence to strengthen the case, but Lennon refused to back down. Supported by lawyers and activists, he launched a legal battle that would stretch for years. Crowds rallied outside courtrooms, chanting for justice. The government hoped he'd give up and leave quietly. Instead, he sang louder. The deportation attempt only fueled his determination to expose the truth about political persecution in America. Lennon fights back. The harder they pushed, the stronger Lennon stood. He used his platform to denounce government overreach and defend free speech. On television and in interviews, he called out the hypocrisy of a nation that celebrated liberty while punishing dissent. Yet the pressure took its toll. He and Yoko faced constant harassment, their private life invaded by agents posing as fans or journalists. Lennon's creative output slowed under the weight of surveillance, but his defiance never wavered. "We're not here to cause chaos," he said. "We're here to create peace." Those words, simple but fearless, made him more dangerous to those who thrived on fear. The long battle for freedom. Years of legal battles followed. Lennon's attorneys, led by Leon Wildes, uncovered evidence of political interference in his case. Bit by bit, the truth surfaced. The deportation order wasn't about drugs. It was about silencing an artist before an election. In 1975, after years of stress and uncertainty, Lennon finally won the right to stay in the United States. Ironically, by the time he prevailed, Nixon was gone, forced to resign over the Watergate scandal, exposed by his own paranoia. Lennon, meanwhile, was free to live as he wished. The man they tried to silence had outlasted the system that feared his voice. The secret files revealed. Decades later, activists used the Freedom of Information Act to unseal the FBI's classified Lennon file. What emerged was both shocking and absurd. Pages of lyrics, concert notes, and even rumors about subversive messages hidden in songs. It was proof that the government had wasted enormous resources tracking a musician whose greatest weapon was peace. Yet the redacted black bars told their own story of fear, control, and obsession. Historians now view the surveillance as a symbol of Cold War paranoia turned inward, when those who preached peace were treated as enemies of the state. Chapter 9. The Legacy of Defiance. John Lennon's life ended too soon, but his message still echoes louder than the wiretaps and secret memos that tried to silence it. His songs remain a reminder that peace can be revolutionary, and that freedom of expression must be defended, even from those in power. The FBI's surveillance of Lennon wasn't just about one man. It was about the struggle between truth and authority. In the end, Lennon won not through politics but through persistence. As he once said, "A dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality." And that reality still challenges us today. Decades later, the files were opened. Inside them, pages of paranoia, of fear disguised as patriotism. They listened to his words, dissected his songs, and watched his every move. But they never understood the message, because peace can't be silenced. And a dream sung by millions will always outlive the ones who try to bury it. Lennon may be gone, but his defiance endures, a reminder that truth and music share one thing in common. They both have perfect pitch. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the hidden depths of history. If you enjoyed uncovering this secret, there's so much more waiting to be explored. Make sure to subscribe to Conspiracy Condensed so you never miss another shocking revelation. And if you found this video thought-provoking, hit that like button. It really helps us keep bringing you the truth.